If you want convenience, Marie's Mini Mart is here for you. A one-stop shop for a variety of products, home-style breads, sandwiches, plus check out our freshly baked artisan breads and single-serve desserts exclusively at our in-store bakery on Frecker Drive. With 25 locations, wherever you go, there we are. We have the Good Times Cornered. Yellow Belly Brewery and Public House is a proud sponsor of One Chef, One Critic.
It's always a celebration at Spirit. There's musical comedy, of course, but we do food and special events from weddings to corporate seminars. Daily screech-ins. Spirit of Newfoundland, proud sponsor of One Chef, One Critic.
Cheese, love it. What's that one there?
That is Stilton, the finest cheese on the planet.
Oh yes, the stinky one.
Stinky? I'll have you know English cheese is not stinky. It is intense and aromatic.
Oh yes, Chef, if you say so, Chef.
Oh, I know so.
I've just found another Stevie button push.
Yum, 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 yum.
Hi everybody and welcome to another edition of One Chef, One Critic. I'm Carl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, we have all of this cheese here, but we also have graters. What is the point you're trying to make with this today?
Okay, what I'll do, Carl, is there's nothing worse than having a cheese grater like this, and when you're grating with your cheese, your hard cheese, it all starts to stick to it, even if it's a soft cheese.
That's
so to
right,
speak.
it certainly does.
So what I do, I just take a non-stick spray, just spray it on the outside and on the inside, like so, and away we go. You know, just like so, it'll just come like this. Just a quick tap, and it all falls off. Look, it's all gone.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, normally it would all stick on the inside. So,
Well,
yeah.
that is yet another really wonderful tip
Absolutely.
from Chef Watson. Coming up on the program today, our special guest is singer-songwriter Briana Goss. And what will we be making with Briana?
Today we'll be making a maple mushroom chicken.
That sounds
Absolutely.
delectable. We're going to have a little bit of seafood on the menu today as well because Jeff Adams from the Curtain Call Cafe near Clarenville is with us, and he's going to do something with scallops, so stay tuned. For a complete listing of One Chef, One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600.
Marie's Mini Mart is homemade convenience in your neighborhood. We offer freshly baked artisan breads and single-serve desserts made from scratch, available exclusively at our in-store bakery on Frecker Drive. Yellow Belly food means fresh food and handcrafted beer. Yellow Belly Brewery and Public House. We've got Good Times Cornered. Yellow Belly Brewery is a proud sponsor of One Chef, One Critic.
Musical comedy, daily screech-ins, food and space for special events. We celebrate your spirit at Spirit of Newfoundland, proud sponsor of One Chef, One Critic.
And here we are with Briana Goss, one of my favorite singers. And she also writes songs, which is pretty cool too. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, I hope you like chicken.
I do.
Everybody likes chicken.
How can you not?
Exactly. So, Brianna, what we're going to be making today is a mushroom and chicken Asiago chicken, so to speak. So we're going to be putting some cream in there, some maple syrup and all that kind of good stuff. So we'll start by putting a little bit of oil in our pan, and then I'm going to get you to saute the chicken on after I've seasoned it.
Okay.
And I'll pop it in there, then I'll give you some tongs there.
Put the chicken in gently because we don't want that oil splashing back up.
No, okay. I'll do it piece by piece, Carl.
Okay.
All right.
And Carl, I'm going to get you to do our noodles there, and they're going to be sautéed off in some clarified butter.
Okay, this is where we drive the audio man crazy because of the sizzling.
Yeah, that must be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me when to
Well, you can turn it over now. That'll be good.
There we go. So, Briana, 2014 was an absolutely fabulous year for you because you won the Music NL Performer of the Year Award and the Album of the Year.
Yeah, I was very surprised about that last one. I keep thinking they maybe made a mistake and they're going to take it back. I was very shocked, but it was
Just don't give it back. Don't give it back.
Mine now. It's on my mantle. It's staying there.
Yeah, so that must have been a nice boost for you.
Oh, it was pretty amazing. I mean, I just released my first album, and you don't expect you know, much to have with the first album. I just made it for myself, and it was very exciting. But to get that acknowledgement from Music NL and
That's
Factor,
right, yeah.
it was amazing. Yeah, it was great.
Was your first album Era?
Era.
A-E-R-A.
A-E-R-A.
So where'd that name come from?
It comes, you know, the word era, like an era spanning across time,
Yeah.
and that's sort of what those songs were to me. It just sort of, they represented an era of my life, that it was kind of like a chapter, a book coming to a close. But I thought the A just kind of made it look nice, a little more symmetrical. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of garlic in there.
Ooh, garlic, I
Sweet
love
home.
garlic.
The aroma's certainly going to come off there, that's for sure.
So where did you get your start in music?
I've
Like
been doing...
way back when you were a little girl?
Sure. I mean, I've been singing and been involved in music for as long as I can remember, really, since I was 6 and 7, taking voice lessons and stuff. And I've had a lot of different phases, I guess, with my music. I was involved in musical theater and classical music for a long time. I was an opera singer for 5 or 6 years, and but then I kind of fell into what I'm doing now, which is the songwriting and the more acoustic-y side of things. Yeah, so that's actually newer for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the music you're doing now? Is it sort of jazz, pop?
Yeah, we still don't know, because like there's songs on the album that even step into like a reggae kind of thing. But we've been calling it like a soul, jazz, pop kind of mixture.
Well, whatever you call it, it certainly works.
Oh, thank you very much.
And your Christmas song that you wrote and the video was absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thank you. That was a
Yeah.
real jazzy one.
A Christmas gift for you? Was that
A Christmas song for you.
a Christmas song for
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite jazzy, actually.
Yeah, I really do have a place in my heart for sort of that old
Yeah.
school kind of 40s, 50s.
Yeah, and you know who you remind me of? I don't know if you're going to take
Okay.
this as a compliment or not, but I'm a great fan of, and you may not even remember the name or know the name, Peggy Lee. Do you know Peggy Lee?
Peggy Lee, I know the name.
Yeah, well, you remind me of Peggy Lee a little bit. You Google Peggy Lee and you'll get all kinds of songs.
For sure, I
Yeah.
will do that.
So as you can see, Brianna, we've added our mushrooms there, we've got some garlic. I've also put a little bit of dried thyme on there as well.
Smells great.
And then I'm just going to put a little bit of white wine
Sure.
over there. And that'll just take some of that caramelization of the chicken off the bottom there. As you can see, it's coming to a boil. We'll add our maple syrup, like so. And we're also going to, once that comes to the boil, we'll add a little bit of cream to it as well, and our Asiago cheese.
Awesome.
So you studied classical music? Did you go to
I
Mon?
did. No, I did not go to. I didn't go to music school really. So
Okay.
I studied privately with a few different instructors around the island, and I really enjoyed it. I had initially planned to pursue classical music. Maybe as a career, but I changed my mind. It was a last minute thing when I left high school and decided I kind of had to, it was a crossroads, and I chose one way and sort of had to leave the other behind a little bit. But yeah, I love it. I
Now,
love
you
classical.
play the piano. Do you play any other instruments?
I play guitar and a ukulele. And I'm starting to learn how to play the bass guitar now. That's my newest venture.
I think actually I did see you play the ukulele on a video. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
right.
there's
Yeah.
one floating around there
There is
somewhere,
one
but some out of all those videos. But the ukulele is super fun. I think it's a really great accessible instrument.
I remember that video
Yeah.
because it's not very often you see somebody playing the ukulele.
No, it's not, and it's not as common as you'd think for such a nice sounding, uplifting instrument.
Certainly
It's
certainly
great.
not in Newfoundland. I mean, we're more mandolin people.
Definitely, yeah. You see a lot of mandolin here, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful too. That's another beautiful instrument.
So when did you write your first song? How long ago?
My
Were you
first
like a
song-
little 4-year-old composer? Or?
I always wrote little ditties or whatever growing up, but it was probably I was 13, I think, 12 or 13 when I wrote my first song, start to end, like a real song, not just like a little limerick or something. But yeah, from there, that's when I started playing guitar, and that's when I really started songwriting when I was like 13. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called Cold Spaces.
Yeah.
It is a terrible song, but it was my first one.
We all have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
that's for
exactly,
sure.
right.
We all have to start somewhere.
So it was when you won the 2012 Newfound Music Award that Chris Kirby kind of discovered you and decided to produce your stuff?
That's how we met, yeah. It was the Music NL Newfound Talent Competition. I can't remember, I think it was October or something, it was fall. And I entered last minute, it was the night before, I just sent my name in and I was lucky enough to get a space in the competition. And then lucky enough again to have ended up winning it, and that's how I met Chris. Because the prize for that was working in the studio with him and his brother Mike. And that's where we came up with Fall For You. And that's on the album now, like 3 years later. I think we still have that song, yeah. It was great. Chris is great, and he put a lot of work into the album. He's fantastic, yeah.
So did he ever tell you what it was he saw in you, or what it was he liked about your music?
I don't know. I think it was almost this unspoken. We had a lot of musical chemistry.
Yeah, it's a mutual kind of.
Yeah, totally. We got together to write a song, which is now called Traveling Show, which is on the album as well. And it's one of my favorites actually on the album. So. Yeah, that's one that we co-wrote together. We knew after that, we should probably keep making music together, and so we did. Yeah.
Well, Steve, I think that probably needs to cook for another 120 seconds.
Okay, and I will look after that. Oh, we will look after that.
How's that for accuracy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't tell me I don't know how to cook. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the wine cellar and get a bottle of wine. Okay?
So do you enjoy cooking at home? Do you do anything
I
at home?
do. I love to cook. I'm not the most skilled chef. I'm very good at Kraft dinner.
Absolutely.
And
we all.
Scrambled eggs. I can even do over easy now and then if I'm feeling adventurous. But I like to bake. Baking
you
is
do
my
like baking.
I love baking, yes.
Which is an art within itself, and it's a science.
It is, yes, exactly. Thank you.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Carl.
Well, I think we've got a little bit of a challenge for you today. We took chicken, and we added mushrooms, and Asiago cheese, and maple syrup.
The kicker.
I said, she's going to have a problem with this one, but anyway, I know you're up to the challenge, so what have you come up with?
Well, of course, we've got the sweet, we've got the cheesy, we've got the chicken, so we went white for sure. And what I did is I chose wines that have just a little bit of residual sugar. So they're going to deal with that maple syrup, but they have a beautiful crisp finish, lovely balanced wines, so they're going to bring the acidity to refresh your palate in between bites. And that's kind of the key when you've got something that's got cream and sweetness and all that sort of stuff in there. So we're going to start with the Nova 7. This is a wonderful winery, I think a winery to watch in Nova Scotia. It's Benjamin Bridge is the name of it. This is primarily Muscat grapes. There's there's some few hybrid varietals in there too, which do very well in Nova Scotia. And bright floral fruit, and then that lovely crisp finish on the end. It's almost a little bit spritzy, which gives a really palate cleansing effect in between. That one's 25. We have the Dr. Lucin, which is a blue slate Cabernet Riesling. Cabernet refers to the state of the grapes when they're picked, the sugar content of them. So again, a little bit of residual sugar. South-facing slopes and high altitude. So we're getting lots of sun for ripening, but it's a long, slow ripening because we have the cool evenings for the fruit set, which gives it that beautiful balanced acidity, which is exactly what you're looking for in a Riesling. That one's 25 as well. And then, last but not least, from the Niagara Escarpment, we have the Vineland Estates Semi-Dry Riesling. So again, semi-dry is referring to that little bit of residual sugar in there, but beautiful citrus lime, sort of tart peach finish. And that's that one's 18.
Boy, wow, this is a difficult decision. But I think I'm going to go with the Nova 7 from Benjamin Bridge because I liked what you had to say about that spritzy quality. I think that'll help cut through the cream and everything else of this. And,
it's a gorgeous wine. It's almost a feminine wine, but I think you can handle it.
Okay. I'll treat it gently.
All right.
Now we'll just create our last plate of our maple mushroom chicken. Lots of sauce on there with the Asiago cheese. Some thyme in there and the sauce like so. We'll put some chopped parsley on there. We'll put some Parmesan cheese, a little drizzle of olive oil perhaps over the top, like so. And let's go and visit Briana and Carl in the dining room.
There we go.
Wonderful. Thank you very
Some
much.
white wine to go with our white chicken,
Delicious.
which has been all dressed up with herbs and what have you. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a taste because that's what we do. And we pronounce on it.
So good.
Is it good?
It's
Okay.
really delicious, yeah.
it has a sweetness, but it's not too sweet.
No, not overpowering.
Oh, the
with
maple
it.
syrup.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has a nice kind of woodsy flavor
Feel
to it as well.
Yeah.
Brianna, I wanted to ask, you come from a musical family?
I do. I have a big family, and most of them come from more of like a rural Newfoundland, so
Yes,
you get a lot of that traditional Newfoundland sound, a lot of fiddle and accordion. So it's always been a big part of my family's life, and even the ones who aren't musical love music very much. So yeah, it's great.
So what part of rural Newfoundland do they come from?
My grandmother and her whole family come from Flowers Island. It's a tiny little lighthouse island, way out on I think it's like central, a little further west. The geography of that, I'm not sure. But most of my family lives in Gander.
Oh, great.
So they come in and out a lot for my music events and stuff, which is great.
My relatives come from the Bonavista Vista Bay area, and rural background, obviously, and, a lot of musicians in my family, too. My grandmother played the button accordion.
That's great. That's
very,
awesome.
very well. So how did your parents feel about you embarking on a musical career? Were they a little bit nervous about that?
Yeah, I think there's definitely, people have some reservations when they hear that you're going to try to pursue something in the arts, because it can be unstable.
Yeah.
But there's really no guarantee when you do anything. And I'm in school right now, trying to work towards getting a psychology degree. So I have lots of passions, and music is one of them. And I think if you just sort of follow what makes you happy, you'll find a way. You'll find a way to make it work anyways. So.
That's a good philosophy to have. Speaking of school, I read that you were accepted for the Berklee School of Music in Boston last year.
I was, and I went for a little while, some personal reasons and some family stuff. I ended up coming back, and I was 3 years into a degree here, so I'm back trying to finish that now. Yeah.
And what about projects that you're kind of juggling now? What do you have on the go currently? Are you working on new songs, a new album?
I'm in a bit
new
of
concerts, what?
I'm in a bit of a musical transition now. I think my first album I put out, a lot of those songs were written when I was 16, 17, 18, and so I've done a lot of growing as a person, as a musician, and so that's what I'm doing now. I'm just a lot of writing and working with some new people and trying out new ideas, and so it's very exciting. Yeah, we're doing some new songs, and hopefully there's an album too on the way. No dates yet or anything, but that's what we're working towards.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sound like I'm interviewing you for a job, but where do you see yourself?
No, I'm nervous.
Where do you see yourself maybe in 5 years' time?
Honestly, I love Newfoundland, and I love the East Coast. I think I'd maybe like to try to make a hub, move maybe to Nova Scotia, try Montreal or something, but keep the music going and keep studying.
Yeah,
and,
Montreal would be exciting.
What a beautiful city!
Yeah,
it's
they love musicians.
Yes, yeah.
Especially people doing your kind of music up there. Anyway, it's been lovely meeting you, and
awesome.
I've heard you, of course, but it's nice meeting you in person, and all the best to you in your career. I'm sure you're going to do really, really well. You're a star on the rise, Briana Goss. Coming up next, we have Jeff Adams, and he's coming in from Clarenville to show us a scallop appetizer from the Curtain Call Cafe, so stay tuned.
Focused on quality and convenience, there isn't much you won't find at Marie's Mini Mart. Home-style breads, sandwiches, plus a variety of artisan breads and delicious single-serve desserts available exclusively at our Frecker Drive location. Marie's Mini Mart, with 25 locations wherever you go, there we are.
Yellow Belly food means fresh food. We source our ingredients locally and prepare them from scratch. Our meat is never frozen. Food's so delicious, we've got Good Times cornered. Yellow Belly Brewery, a proud sponsor of One Chef, One Critic.
Hi, I'm Shelley Neville. At Spirit of Newfoundland, we're going strong with our musical comedy, event planning, and catering. We're the St. John's event of the year, and now we have daily screech-ins right here in our new screech room. Spirit of Newfoundland, a proud sponsor of One Chef, One Critic.
Well, our chef guest today is actually the founder and artistic director of the new Curtain Theatre Company in Milton, near Clarenville in Newfoundland. When you run a small regional theatre, you really have to be a jack of all trades, especially when you have a restaurant as part of your theatre operation to generate revenue. In this case, it's a restaurant called the Curtain Call Cafe, and founder, artistic director Jeff Adams is also the chef, chief cook, and bottle washer of the Curtain Call Cafe, and it's nice to have you on the program.
And it's nice to be here, Carl.
And congratulations on coming up with this innovative idea of having a restaurant to generate some money for the theater. That's great. So what are we going to be cooking today, Jeff?
Well, it's going to be a new item that's going on our menu now for the late spring, and it is scallops cooked in a raspberry glaze with greens.
Okay,
so, yeah,
okay.
It's where we've got an abundance of seafood in this province.
It's not raspberry jam, is it?
It's not raspberry jam, no.
You never know in Newfoundland.
I know, that's true. Not to be partridge berry. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start. So we've got some beautiful scallops here.
Yes,
so
we do.
Huge, aren't they?
They are big ones. I asked for nice big plump ones.
So they're ocean scallops, not the bay scallops.
That's
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. That's right. So we start off actually in the frying pan with a couple of tablespoons of butter, non-salted, and then once we get that nice and foaming, we put in a couple of shallots.
All right, let's just go ahead and do it.
And
fill your boots. Let's go.
Fill your boots, as they say.
So, and we'll get those going here now. And
there's some beautiful chopped scallions, red onion. Yeah.
Butter is so much nicer than oil.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's going to bring the flavour to them scallops as well, right?
So
there we go. And you say this is going to be something that you're going to be introducing to your menu?
Yes, yeah. We change up our menu about once every 2 months.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
we're coming up for a change. Right now we're in our British pub food phase.
Very good. Yeah,
so we do a whole collection of pies, fish pies,
really?
shepherd's pies, steak and stout. We do great pork and ginger beer with orange.
What about ploughman's lunch? Do you do
getting the cheese is hard for the ploughman's lunch.
Okay.
So so I've held off on that one. And then once you get these nice and translucent, then we put in eighth of a teaspoon of mace and a couple of cloves of garlic.
Oh, I can smell that coming through now.
It's really nice. That is.
Yeah, mace. That's one I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting mace.
No, I use mace a lot.
Yeah.
So then when you get those down, then what we do is we put in a half a cup of raspberry vinegar. Now
Now you're cooking.
Yeah. Now this is a raspberry balsamic vinegar, or you can go with just a plain raspberry vinegar as well. This adds more depth and that to it. And so now that we've got that bubbling away, so now you're going to put in our scallops.
A beautiful ocean scallops.
And it certainly will not take very long for those scallops to cook.
No. It takes only probably about a minute for each side. And so to just get them nice and juicy and let the flavors and that come through it.
So you've been open a short while now. You're getting lots of local support for the restaurant.
Tons of local support.
That's good.
We've had, of course, a cold winter, so people have been a bit reluctant to get out. But we've been open since October of last year, and it's great because people are always looking for something to do. We've got one couple who come out, and they're there every Sunday night at 5:30 on the dot. And I was a little late one day getting there, and they were wondering, where were you? Where were you?
Very good.
Now, that's an interesting color, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
So, I guess you're just going to spread the leaves on the plate.
Yeah, we'll just put a bed of leaves down, a few of them. We don't... And then we'll see if we can do probably just about half that amount.
Half that amount?
Yeah, get some green in there.
Yeah. And these are almost done, aren't they?
These are almost done. Yeah. This is actually a recipe I got out of a book called Shakespeare's Kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we try to theme a lot of our dinners and that.
Very appropriate.
And so one of the ones we have coming up is Elizabethan food.
Okay, so this is where you
So this is one of the starters and that for it. And of course, the Elizabethans used a lot of really rich, fruity, and a lot of things like mace and cloves and that in their
truly traditional, that's for sure.
Truly traditional, and it's just got such a lovely taste to it.
Okay, so Jeff, I think we're going to have to move along because
if we
the clock
we'll pop them onto there. That'll be great.
Okay, so
I just took some of this parsley for you. I didn't know
that's
where.
great. No, that's excellent.
Just turn this off now, and away we go. Wow, that's a full plate there.
That's a full plate. That's a sharing plate. I call that.
Yeah.
So then we can take some of this.
Just put it on the top, and away we go.
Dress it up with some of this.
Yeah. And that is a sharing plate.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's a seaman plowman's lunch.
Yeah. The jewels of the ocean, folks, presented by Chef Jeff Adams of the Curtain Call Cafe in Milton, near Clarenville. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
That's it for this edition of
One Chef,
One Critic. Absolutely delicious looking. Steve, you do the honors.
Okay,
take
I certainly
a
will.
taste.
I'll just take that.
I know how much you love scallops.
Absolutely. There we go.
again,
A winner?
a winner, and a
Okay.
keeper.
So Julia, swirl and sniff like you always do and tell me what you smell. Tell Auntie Pud what you smell.
Cranberries.
What else?
Strawberries. Vanilla.
Yes.
I'm done.
Guys, Ogier Coteron. But it is a little oxidized, Carl. It's been open since Monday, so.
Okay. That's obviously why I'm not picking that up.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't have an 8-year-old nose.